Topic number one today. We've got a finalized list of the top 13 transfer classes now that the transfer window has pretty much closed. And it was Jeff Borzello who put this together. Shout out to BJB. Go subscribe to ESPN Plus and just support BJB's work over at ESPN. I'm going to read through the list and then I want you to tell me what jumps out as something that feels wrong to you from this list. If anything, you have been known to agree with Jeff Borzello most of the time, so this might be a difficult exercise for you. Borzello's number one ranked transfer class from this cycle is the St. John's Red Storm. We should add, before I go through the rest of this, this is solely based off who is incoming. Does not take into account who's leaving or what else is on the rest of the roster. It's just the sum of all of the transfers you added, who did the best job adding things in the transfer portal. St. John's is number one, 7 adds. All of them averaged 10 points a game last year. Pretty loaded class. Kentucky at 2, Michigan at 3, Louisville at 4, a 3-man class all the way up there at 4. Florida at 5, another 3-man class, Avion Lee, Boogie Flan, A.J. Brown. Washington at 6 with a bunch of guys. Indiana at 7 with an entire roster. Oklahoma at 8, USC at 9, Iowa at 10, a lot of Big Ten representation. Creighton at 11, Auburn at 12, and NC State at 13. That's Borzello's top 13 transfer classes. What do you think he got wrong?
Well, I think my Blue Jays are a little low, just to throw that out there immediately. So one, looking at, I think the interesting part about doing this exercise and looking through this list is looking at how it's weighed on like the 3-man classes versus these teams that just like brought in a bunch of players because they needed to, right? Like it's interesting to see like kind of how that kind of works out. The one thing I'll say is that what stuck out to me right away is that doesn't it feel kind of wrong that a national championship level team brought in Xavier Lee and Boogie Flan and they're only fifth?
Yeah, but I think when you start to frame it as like a national championship team, you're talking about the things outside of the transfer class. You know what I mean? Like it's not
Yeah.
it's not about anything else other than those guys. They got 2 studly studs and then not much else.
Yeah. Oh, so wait, so are you taking the angle that Florida's a little too high?
No, I think they're perfect at 5. I mean,
Okay.
Lee and Fland as a duo is arguably the best that anybody added. But
Yeah. I'll say this too. I know I was singing the praises of what Oklahoma did, like underrated wise in the transfer portal. I was a little bit surprised to see them at 8.
meaning like that's too high?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Let's kind of just quick hitters on these teams. Are we okay with St. John's at 1? When you see it listed out, Bryce Harkins, Osiah Sellers, Jason Sonon, Ian Jackson, Dylan Darling, Dylan Mitchell is the 6th guy in your transfer class. That's the
Yeah.
number 1 transfer class.
Yeah, gotta be.
Ridiculous. Kentucky at 2 is also a 6-man class. Reese Potter's 6, but 5 impact adds with Quaintance Lowe, Aberdeen, Cam Williams, Mo Diabate. I don't think I have a problem with it, but I would like to ask you, are you taking Kentucky's 6-man transfer class over Michigan's 4-man class that includes Yaxel? This video is brought to you by NBA2KLab.com. 2K Lab worked with us last summer as well, and they're one of our favorite entities in all of sports gaming. We want to show you their college basketball stadium locator challenge game, and I'm going to share a screen right now as we do this. South Carolina, bang. Oh,
Ooh,
okay, that's pretty good. Next, North Carolina. Why are we only getting the Carolinas?
please
Bang.
lock in.
St. John's. That's New
New
York.
York.
Bang.
Where's New Jersey?
We're on fire. Colorado. I actually don't know what state Colorado is.
It's in Colorado. There's a state of
Is that
Colorado.
this one?
It's to the right of Phoenix.
Anyway, you get the picture. This game's really fun. They've got more games as well, like Guess the NBA Player, Mystery Fantasy Draft, and more. Stay tuned for all of the college football content and games that they'll be putting together to help you get the best experience out of college football 26. Back to the video.
Hmm.
BJB's got Michigan 3. And when you list it out as 6 guys, it makes sense why Kentucky's 2. But I think if I was a Kentucky fan and you offered me these 2 buckets, I would take the one with the Axel over the one with Quaintance.
I mean, to me, I'm a bigger Quaintness guy than you, so I think that that does shift a little bit for me. But I'm kind of fine with the bucket and the haul by Kentucky at two.
Okay. I am
Yeah.
too. I'm not griping about it. I just, when you
Mhm.
see them back to back, I'm like, which one would you actually rather have? If it was up to you. So,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Kentucky 2, Michigan 3. We have no issues with that. Louisville 4, Florida 5. I assume we have no issues with that. Would you put Louisville's three-man class ahead of Florida's three-man class, though?
I would.
Rank these three guards for me: Conwell, Lee, Fland.
Conwell one,
Conwell 1. Wow.
Conwell one, Flan Lee.
All right, then if that's how you feel, Louisville should definitely be 4. I think I would flip flop those, put Florida 4, Louisville 5, but again, don't really care.
How would you rank those guards just for S's and G's?
Based on what they will be next season, I'm going to go Boogie Flan 1, Conwell 2, Xavier Lee. But I'm also, part of my belief is I would have Wooly way behind all three of those guys.
Mm. So okay, see, I guess that kind of makes sense how because I wouldn't have them that far behind.
Yeah, I'm not a Wooly guy the way you guys are, but that's fine. I see the vision. Then you've got a bunch of those teams that just like got a whole new roster. Like Washington and Indiana, I'm totally fine being 6 and 7 just because they added a bazillion things, right?
With that said, the I feel like fit wasn't necessarily factored into this one as well because I actually like Washington's class without Des Claude
Well,
because
and what
it makes it weird.
what I love about this is Borzello, without saying something, is saying something by ranking it this way. Washington added one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 guys. Indiana added one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10 guys. If you added the impact players that a Kentucky or a Michigan or a Florida or a Louisville did,
You'd
you
be
would
higher.
be the number one ranked transfer class here. But this is quantity, not quality, with Washington and Indiana, which is why they slot in at 6 and 7. I found that really interesting. And you could say the same thing about USC at 9. The last thing you kind of called this out: Iowa at 10, Creighton at 11. You're telling me, just like I did with Kentucky and Michigan here, you're an Iowa basketball fan, and I'm handing you Bennett Sturts and Alvaro Fulgaris and Brendan Housen on one hand, or you could just have Owen Freeman and Josh Dix back, but add Blake Harper to it. You're taking the Sturts group and not Freeman, Dix, and Harper? Like, that seems crazy to me that Creighton would be behind Iowa here.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Blake Harper, Freeman, Dix alone just as a three-person class, I put them with a lot of people. I think Graves is underrated as an ad in that class, which is why I truly think that Creighton should be ahead of Iowa for me. Creighton should just be higher in general.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. This is the only time I'm going to agree with you on Creighton being higher, but like
It feels good. Thank you.
Freeman Dix Harper is a crazy class. How is that lower than just Bennett Sturts and a bunch of role players?
Yeah.
Lastly, NC State got on this list. Trey Holloman is on this list as the 13th best transfer class, as the second best player in a transfer class. Does that feel right to you?
I mean, I guess Darion Williams alone is fair getting them at 13, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of maybe some other people that could have possibly been at this spot.
The second player in that class is Trey Holloman. The third player in that class is Van Allen Lubin. Could we not have just ranked the top 12 transfer classes?
Yeah, I think you should have just cut it off at 12.
Well, justice for Trey Holloman, though, right? Free Jig. Jig was right.
Yeah, the transfer portal rankings in general.
Hashtag Jig saw. Jig saw what we didn't see.
Ooh,
Like that.
no.